Good morning, everyone. Jamie Laszlo here from Sea of Tranquility. You're thinking, yep, I've taken over. I hijacked the show, and I'm changing the format. From now on, it's Pat Benatar all the damn time. So, Pete, what's your favorite memory of listening to a Pat Benatar album? I'm kidding, Pete. That's not what we're doing at all.
Talk about putting me on the spot, right?
No, what we're doing is episode 2 of album homework assignment. And this week it is Martin Popoff going up against Mr. Pete Pardo. And what we do here is Pete thought up an album that he really likes. And he discussed it with Martin, made sure he didn't know the album, gave Martin the album to listen to. Martin did the same thing with Pete. They sat with their albums for a week. They digested them. Now it's time to come back on this Sunday and for them to both talk about the albums. So, Martin, if you want to go first, tell us what album Pete gave you and any thoughts you have on it.
Well, okay. So this is kind of a funny situation because absolutely, truly in the spirit of the show, I knew nothing about this album, but I own 2 copies of it. I already had 2 copies of it. So here's the story with owning the CD copy. Derek Oliver is a good buddy of mine over at Rock Candy, and I've done some writing for him before, and I've said, don't send me any money, send me a few CDs. So as you can see, as proof, the first one's not even open yet, but I had to crack open the Fountains of Light to play it, and then apparently I own some sort of old Zoom Club or whatever live album, and apparently they still make records. And so I thought, well, do I have the vinyl of these too? So I went and looked, and right next to my Starbuck collection, to pull a Jamie here, and then next to my Starland Vocal Band collection, right? There we go. 3 of those. First one's not even opened. Same thing in the spirit of Star Castle. I had, lo and behold, 4 Star Castle vinyls. And there's the other one. And then I realized basically when you get to this one, it kind of is the same band as Starbuck. Essentially the same guys, right? So this is what I've been assigned, this Fountains of Light. Now I knew vaguely, having just kind of like cursory played these before, they're the one band that is a clone band of Yes. That's kind of all I knew, right? And I've never really dug into any of these records. So having played this, it was pretty interesting. And by the way, I've got this as well, which is kind of weird. A Star Castle Small Wonder invitation card to CBS Records would like to invite you and a guest to a special club concert at the Starwood featuring Star Castle and Small Wonder. The show is one night only, March 22nd, 9 p.m. We have enclosed a backstage pass that will admit you to the VIP area. Please bring it that night. So that goes back to the 70s, that thing. So this was pretty interesting. What it reminded me of immediately is, I couldn't help but read along with Derek's fine liner notes that he always puts in these Rock Candy things, right? So these guys, turns out they're from Champaign, Illinois, right? And instantly I thought of, do you guys know the old, what is the name of it here? Gentle and Soft, the story of Blue Jean Committee, the mockumentary done by Fred Armisen. And go on YouTube and watch this. They do these mockumentaries called Documentary Now. So it's Fred Armisen and Bill Hader. And it's a 20-minute mockumentary of a band from Chicago that goes and cleans up in the yacht rock world in California. They're just like tough guys from Chicago. The one guy's from the sausage industry and all this. And Daryl Hall is in it. Michael McDonald is in it. Kenny Loggins is in it. Irving Azoff is in it. He's from Champaign, Illinois. And it's Bill Hader's the tough guy in it. He corners Irving Azoff at one point, and he says, "Yeah," and I had my arm up against him like this, and I said, "Tell me how to be a California pansy." And so this was his big line, like we got to do this yacht rock thing. He goes, "You got to talk about the sun and all this. It can't be that hard, right?" So go check that out. It's called Gentle and Soft: The Story of Blue Jean Committee. It's better than Spinal Tap, but it's like that. and it's only 20 minutes long. So they did like 7 or 8 of these mockumentaries on various things, but this is on a yacht rock band from Chicago, right? And that's exactly, I couldn't get that out of my head when I'm playing this, because this is a band that comically, very comically, basically is a complete Yes clone band. I mean, you play it and it opens with this 10-minute song called Fountains, and it sounds like immediately this guy just tellingly like the Blue Jean Committee thing. The keyboardist name, the Rick Wakeman of the band, his name is Herb Schilt, right? So it starts off and it sounds like Space Invaders or Pac-Man or Asteroids or one of those things. Yeah, I mean, literally the same sort of like doody, you know, going off on the keyboard. Yeah, exactly. So I'm playing this and I'm going, well, okay, so this sounds a lot like Yes, and it's kind of remarkable because, you know, there are bands that have never been copied by anybody. There are bands that have been copied once by somebody, and then there are bands that cause a whole genre to happen, right? This is the only band that so faithfully, incredibly just copies Yes down to a T. And I'm looking in the liner notes, and there's one telling line in here about how, you know, like the critics tended to spot the similarities, but you know, you could take it the other way and try spot the differences, right? I couldn't spot any differences, which is not, it's well, I mean, it's comical and it's terrible in a way, but it's actually quite a utilitarian album for that reason. It's a lot of fun listening to this stuff. But the funny thing that I noticed that happened with it, so as I went through it and played this first song, Fountains, then you get to Dawning of the Day and Silver Winds, and all 3 of these openers, which I guess that's all of side. Well, I can check it because I have a vinyl of it, but all 3 of these openers, oddly, move at the same tempo. They're at the exact same tempo, and they have really similar vocal melodies that when I was playing it, and I'm guilty of, my actual playing with it all week was on Spotify, right? Because all this stuff's on Spotify. I could barely tell one song going into the next because the first song has so many different parts anyways. And then it starts up at pretty much the same tempo, same kind of vocal melodies. A lot of stuff's in the same key. I just couldn't tell the difference. So Dawning of the New Day, same thing. That's the one that's kind of point, counterpoint, going do dee and do dee and do dee and dee all over the place, right? It's so silly. You feel almost guilty listening to this. It's like there's a bit of sticks to it as well, I guess, which makes sense.
You know what's funny, Martin?
What's that?
There's an actual video game from the early Star Castle.
Really? Wow, crazy. And yeah, so Silver Winds does exactly the same thing. It starts off with more video game sounds from Herb Schilt, right? And then you get later on in it, yeah, True to the Light, exact same tempo again. And at that point, I'm really starting to lose the plot of like caring about the actual songwriting. But the first 2, I noticed that if you play this stuff over and over and over again, those melodies seep into your head, and you start really like buying into it, right?
Yeah, they're really good with the choruses. I mean, it's you know, True to the Light, Dawning of the Day. I mean, they're very memorable songs.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention though, and I know, Pete, you probably disagree with me on this because you mentioned it the other day. Roy Thomas Baker on the production of this. I'm not crazy about the production. I don't like the drum sound. The drums are too loud. The tom-toms are too boxy. And the cymbals, like once I tell you this, you're not going to be able to unhear it. It might diminish your love of this album, but the cymbals are atrocious sounding, and the hi-hat is so loud, and he's got it a little bit open quite often, right? So at one point I'm listening along and I'm going, I can't get this hi-hat out of my head. Like I think Roy really pooched it on the drum sound on this album. But then you get to Portraits, and that's more of a CSNY acoustic kind of thing. So they do change it up, which is kind of cool. So that was quite different. And Diamond Song, Deep is the Light in 3/4 time. That's melodic, a little more rocking, and a little more of a full sound. I kind of like that. But what's the one that Dawning of the New Day, the one that's doing all that point counterpoint all the time. I'm like counting it and going, is this in like 17/16 or 9/8? And I'm going along and going, you know what? It's in bloody 4/4. It's literally 4/4. It just has like a hiccup to start it off, and then you're going along and you go, even though they're doing this all over the place, it's like, well, that's why it's okay, because it's in 4/4. It doesn't sound too ridiculous, right? But, and I tried to stay away fairly, but I couldn't, because I was quite curious about this band after this. I went and played some of the other stuff, and I can't remember what the first album or the third album sounds like, but I did play the notorious Reel to Reel, right? It's called. Yeah. And I almost started to like them even more because of that. That's the one I guess everybody's supposed to hate. Yeah. But it's like, I'm glad that you're getting away from this slavish, we're the Yes from Champaign, Illinois sound. I was almost like, there's so much level of novelty to what they do that I couldn't get that out of my mind. And then I couldn't get the hi-hats and the cymbals out of my mind either at one point. And the lyrics are just insane, right? I typed a few of them out, or not typed, but I copied and pasted a few of them out here. It's like, just as we turn to the wind, our eyes have lost their chill, clean as the motion of time across my bow. Later on, you've got stuff like challenge life. It's certainly challenging. Starflight clouds aligning the sky. Silver winds are burning inside of me, distilling new sound. A moment to fling. Pure white line of passion and energy, flooding my eyes, refreshing and clean. I mean, the guys, it's just like, it's literally like when you watch that Blue Jean Committee, when Bill Hader says, write some songs about the sun and stuff. It can't be hard. It's like, it sounds like they're just sitting there going, how do we do John Anderson? Right. Which is a little silly, because there's only one John Anderson. Right. So there you go. That's my, but I couldn't stop playing it. I played it many, many times and kind of kept playing it. So, but I think I'm moving on to Starland Vocal Band soon after this. So there you go.
A lot of negative things. You said a lot of positive things. So I'm trying to get a grip on how you feel about this band. As you talked, I'm like, oh, he hates this. Oh, wait a minute. He kind of likes it. Wait a minute. He hates it.
Yeah.
So the 3 rating system thing we have. Is this well, you already bought it, but let's say you didn't buy it in the past. Is this something you go out of your way, spend your hard-earned money on and buy it? Would you just stream it, or are you going to forget it?
I think I'll go in the middle on this one. Definitely stream it.
Okay.
Yeah, because
you got a streamer.
Although I would say buy it, because Derek's a good buddy of mine, and these Rock Candy reissues of every single thing he does are amazing. There's great liner notes in it. So I would say buy it. Because how long are these CDs going to be around for also, right?
So we got a light buy on Martin.
Yeah.
Because of collecting issues.
Yeah.
Our issues of collecting that we have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm sitting here at the beginning of Martin's take on this, and him showing all the different versions and all this stuff. And I think secretly you and Chris Allo live at the same house. You must. It's like you guys are constantly pulling. I didn't even know I had this. Wow. I had 2 copies, 3 copies, and 1 sealed. And it's crazy. Yeah. All right. I mean, I agree with you on a lot of points. I will say, as far as like what is different from Yes, well, first of all, Terry Luttrell, he doesn't sound exactly like John Anderson, but he sounds enough like John Anderson. I think you take him out of the equation, and I don't know that this band is that Yes sounding. And it's interesting because Terry Luttrell sang on the first REO Speedwagon album, and he doesn't sound anything like he does on the Starcastle albums, which, were they trying to get him to sound like that? Who knows, right? Some of the differences I find, first of all, this band has 2 guitar players, and there's a lot of that back and forth twin guitar thing, which of course Yes doesn't have. So that's kind of a difference. On this album particularly, you mentioned Roy Thomas Baker's production. I think he's also got the keyboards way too high in the mix. If you listen to the debut and even Citadel, the third album, I think it's a little more balanced. But yeah, I think this is a fun album. I go back and forth between this one and the debut. I think the debut is a little bit stronger, but I think this is still they're their 2 best easily. And I can see the ridiculousness in it. I mean, these overly ethereal, esoteric lyrics. It's almost like they're like, all right, we want to do like the Tales from Topographic Oceans thing and try and outdo that as far as like how puzzlingly complex and ridiculous they are. And yeah, they totally win an award for that. But great cover artwork on all of them. And
That's pretty disco-y, this one, though, right? That could be a disco album.
Could be, but yeah, it's got this kind of saga thing going on, I guess. I don't know. I kind of dig it. The first album is really cool too. But one of the things I like about this band so much is that we're talking about a time where prog rock here in the US is really not happening at all. I mean, you've got Kansas and Happy the Man and Starcastle. That's basically, as far as like the more notable bands. So I think that all of the US bands were struggling to kind of keep up with what was going on over in the UK. So give them an A for effort on that. But yeah, I mean, I could tell anybody who comes to me and says that this band is totally ridiculous. Hey, I get it. I like them. I think there's a certain charm to this, but as far as being derivative to an extent, yeah, I agree. So
Did you get the reaction from Martin you kind of expected, or were you surprised?
no, I think I kind of expected. Yeah, I thought he would find some fun with it, but I knew he was going to kind of tear into some things about it, and that's totally cool. I think that was, rather than give him something that I think is just so meat and potatoes, I think this was a good choice. And I gave Martin a couple choices, so this is the one he picked. So yeah, that was
right.
fun. That was fun.
All right, so I'm interested to see what Pete had to listen to.
Yeah, so I had to listen to the Tea Party, the Interzone Mantras. So this is an album from this Canadian band, the Tea Party, right in the middle of their catalog. Right, Martin is It's almost exactly in the middle of their catalog because they got a lot of albums. So this is a band until about like maybe, I don't know, a year ago, I never even heard of before. They came up in a couple of conversations that Martin and I had on specific shows because, they're a Canadian band, and a lot of the Canadians are, they're pretty well known in Canada, but not here at all. So they came up and Martin talked pretty highly about them. But it wasn't until like Rick Labonte on a couple of different In the Prague Seat shows, we keep bringing them up. And I think Rick knows a couple of guys in the band, so if I understand correctly. And, Rick would even bring the Tea Party up like on a pretty Prague themed show. Whereas, I mean, again, I've only ever listened to this album. I don't know if I hear a lot of Prague on this album, but I can kind of see where there are proggy things going on. I hate to use that term, but that's it is true. There are some things on here. So Rick, always talks very highly about the Tea Party. So when Martin was like, all right, here's an album for you, and I'm like, all right, I want to take that challenge because I want to hear what everybody is talking about, like what's so great about the Tea Party. And Martin talked about how the singer's got this Jim Morrison look, really good front man, great vocals, and the Zeppelin thing going on and all that sort of stuff. So I tried to kind of take all that, but really just listen to the album, immerse it, and come up with my own opinions. So what I've done is I've kind of taken apart each song on the album. So the first song is called Inner Zone. And that is probably the most different sounding song on the album, I think, but really cool. I mean, there's horns on it. You got these jangly kind of rootsy riffs mixed with this like a bigger, more metallic style of, power chord riffing. This guy, the singer, is really good. He's really good. I mean, you can hear that right from the first song. I love the melodies, just the way he's got this kind of it factor, which I really like. And if I had never seen what he looks like, I'd still think the same thing. Really good song. Track number 2, Angels. Kind of got like this little modern rock feel to it, which at first I kind of wasn't digging. And then the rhythms kind of, to me, sound like Every Breath You Take by the Police. And I was like, all right, here we're getting a little pedestrian here. But the chorus is amazing. So I was like, all right, so I can kind of deal with this, right? We'll keep going on here. So The Master and the Margarita. Hate the title of the song. However, it's a really cool track. Acoustic guitars and mellotron. Then all of a sudden, these big, heavy riffs come in with this Middle Eastern feel. And all of a sudden, I'm like, hello, Led Zeppelin. I like this. Really good, emotional, gritty vocals. The guitar solo has this Jimmy Page thing going on. I'm digging this. All right. I really like the Led Zeppelin vibe on here, and I like all these different styles and elements going on. I think it's just got a lot of textures. Really good track. Track number 4, Apathy. Slow builder. Starts off kind of mellow, keeps building and building and building. Dreamy vocals, really kind of cool to listen to. The chorus is pretty heavy. Again, I'm feeling a little Led Zeppelin on this song. I like it. Track number 5, here it gets a little different again. So soul breaking. I hear a little David Bowie. I hear a little Anathema with the kind of the really like atmospheric thing going on. The strings, got great strings on here. It's very melancholy. The drums, this drummer too is really, really good. And the vocals, absolute standout. Really good track. And again, I'm getting a lot of variety in just the first 5 songs, which I like. Track number 6, Lullaby. Starts off mellow again. This band is really good at these slow builder things. Then these heavy drums kick in with all these really weird kind of guitar noises and licks and things. And then you got these big metallic riffs coming in again. The vocals kind of keep picking up the pace, getting fiercer and fiercer as the song's going on. Another really, really good one. Track number 7, Must. Again, big Zeppelin hard rock on this. And you listen to this song. For everybody watching, just go listen to Must and listen to this singer. This guy should be an absolute star. And you can hear it on this track. He is so good. Track number 8, Whitewater Siren. A lot of acoustic guitar textures on this one, which I dig. The Mellotron comes back again. You know, again, here's that proggy thing. They drop in these kind of cool keyboards, and most notably, you hear the Mellotron a lot on this album, which I think for most prog rock fans will be pretty cool. The vocals are nice and lush. The drums, big drum sounds. Again, the Zeppelin thing, the Bonham thing. I don't normally like a lot of stuff like this, these dreamy songs with a lot of acoustic textures and whatever. But man, this band has this way of kind of layering all these different musical passages, and then with the vocals, it just kind of picks you up and just takes you away, which I really kind of liked a lot. Track number 9, Cathartic. Big brooding heavy rock, love it. Drums, again, killer. This guy has a heavy hand and I love it, but he's just deft enough when he needs to be. But he's the way this album is produced, those drums come across in a big way. Creepy sounding keyboards. The singer, once again, packing in so much emotion. The guitar solo is amazing. The chorus is just so alluring. I mean, you just can't help but just get swept away by some of these choruses. I mean, they're just really, really good. Track number 10, Dust to Gold. Love the bass, big booming bass. Gotta love that. Nasty guitar riffs. And then these waves and waves of haunting Mellotron. Just give me big fat bass, riffs, heavy drums, and Mellotron any day. Dust to Gold, probably my favorite song on here. And the vocals, again, outstanding. Requiem, track number 11. A lot of kind of these lilting chords and keyboards. Stunning emotional vocals. Really moody. Strings thrown in for good measure. Just really dense arrangements, but it really works nice. And then track number 12, again, love bands that give you really strong tracks late in the album, and especially closing the album with a big epic banger. Mantra, Middle Eastern themes all over the place, heavy riffs, dripping atmosphere. I mean, you could feel it dripping on your shoulders, down the back of your neck. The vocals are chilling beyond belief. I love these big symphonic swells. Great song. I would say Mantra and Dust to Gold are probably my favorite songs on the album, but all told, I really enjoyed this. I then cheated a little bit and I went and read some reviews online of other people talking about this band. And a lot of people mention that this is probably one of their heavier rocking highlight albums, and some of the other albums are very different. So I was like, all right, so now that I've gone through this and I have to think of the 3 things I need to think about, will I buy it? Will I just stream it occasionally just for the curiosity factor when I'm feeling the itch, or will I just say, forget it? Well, I ordered a copy from eBay. It'll be here on Tuesday, I think. So yeah, so there we have it. So I've ordered this. I've held off on checking out anything else in the catalog because I do have some questions for Martin, because of what I read, that some of the albums are a bit different, and some of the descriptions I read, like, I don't know if I would like that too much, but this one I really like a lot. So my question to Martin is, are there any other albums in their catalog like this one? Because this I like a lot.
Yeah, I would say most of them are, but the other one that's kind of like the big classic is The Edges of Twilight. That was the one that had kind of the biggest hits off of it. That's where they really broke through. You know, Transmission, I think, is one where they add a little. They have their one kind of electronics album where there's some samples and things like that they went down that road. Talk to Jamie for a second. I should have grabbed these, but I'm going to grab the catalog and bring it so I can just show it.
So Jamie, so one of the things that like kind of scared me off from kind of checking out any of the other albums so far was this whole industrial tag, right? I'm not a big fan of industrial music.
Right.
So they talk about a lot of their early albums, and even some of the later ones as have a heavy industrial feel, which I don't get on this album at all. So that's why I've been kind of like a little leery, but what I hear on this, I like a lot. Anything that's, if it's got a lot of industrial stuff going on, I'm probably going to shy away from it. But
there's really only the one. I mean, this is sort of their this is their debut, Splendor Solace, which I didn't really like very much. So that's the only one I would say shy away from. This is the big hit classic, Edges of Twilight. So this has that really big Led Zeppelin Doors feel on the bigger tracks on here, Fire in the Head and The Bazaar. You can watch very plush, expensive, well-made videos on YouTube for these songs as well. Triptych is another good one.
Yeah, that one. I looked at that one. Yeah.
And this one I almost gave you to do because it's really just similar and pretty much as heavy. So this is Seven Circles from what is the year on here? 2004. And there's your interzone mantras. It comes with one of those reticulated sleeves. See that?
Yeah.
And then inside there's a booklet, but it does that. So it's got one of those on it. There's a single for Lullaby, Seven Churches. Yeah, it's kind of it. So yeah, good catalog. Just a couple of things to say. Yeah, they are a trio and they are into all this mystical, cool stuff. They're really big in Australia. That's actually their biggest market. For a while, Jeff Martin, the leader, moved to Ireland. And he actually did work with Jimmy Page. They did some stuff together, wow. And none of it ever saw the light of day. But he is really one of these kind of like moody Jim Morrison, serious Lou Reed type guys, right? And has had in the past his drug and drinking problems and all that stuff. So he's like a real James Joyce, Oscar Wilde kind of dude, right? And like I say, I mean, his look is quite funny in that way that he just kind of looks like Jim Morrison and he sounds like Jim Morrison, and he's the guitarist in the band as well. So he's that amazing guy coming up with all of those riffs. And that one song that you mentioned, let me just make sure I get the title perfect. The Master and Margarita. That's the one that it's based on that classic old Russian book where what happens in it? I read it once, Bulgarov, where the politician turns into a black cat or something. And so they have to deal with. So anyways, that's lots of literary things in this band like that. Like there's just a lot, Go to Morocco, all that Jimmy Page stuff, right? Is all over it. So yeah, if I were to check out anything next, I would check out The Edges of Twilight and Seven Circles.
Cool. All right. I checked out this band last week. Martin brought them up on some episode. I can't keep track of what episodes I watch anymore. And I really don't. It was the lead singer. It does have an it factor, like a rock star persona about him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I heard some Ian Astbury in him when he sang.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
And some of the musical texture, U2 at times.
Yeah.
Which is a band that I hated for 40 years. And now I'm slowly getting into.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I you know what? I think I might buy one of their albums too.
Well, bringing up U2 and Jim Morrison, I mean, there's that strange thing, love it or hate it, Messiah factor, right? Messianic. Right. I mean, Pete, you could tell from the record. I mean, it just sounds really important, right? And it sounds like they spent $2 million producing it.
Oh yeah.
The production's amazing. I mean,
and their videos look good too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were a big band in Canada. I mean, a bunch of these went gold and I think platinum and stuff as well. So they had enough sales in Canada, which is 1/10 US sales, right? 1/10 the population exactly. But again, they were big in Australia as well and never really hit it in the States, but cult band. I mean, everybody loves them kind of thing. So,
well, it looks like you hit two birds with one stone because we got two bites. The host is buying it.
Well, and we also got, I mean, Pete didn't ridicule Tea Party enough, I almost find, because you can ridicule them for the Led Zeppelin and the Doors thing. So in a way, you also got two birds with one stone. You got two bands that are really compared to some other bands a lot, right?
Yeah. I don't mind. I didn't mind it too much because, quite frankly, you can never have enough Led Zeppelin isms in life, right? So, who else is really? And I think it's done very well and tastefully. I don't think it's like, it's not overly obvious. It's there, and I think, Yeah, I mean, the little drops of the little Middle Eastern things here and there, the occasional guitar solo or riff that's got this pagey type thing going on. And thankfully, you got a vocalist. He's also the singer. He doesn't sound like Robert Plant, so you've got this,
Right.
musically speaking, you have these little Led Zeppelin references, but then you got this singer who, maybe he's got a little Morrison or Ian Astbury or whatever, but I think he's original sounding enough, and he's reason enough to listen to this band. I think. I mean, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't wait until we get two people on and they both hate the album so much that they almost offend the other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
We'll see.
So, everyone, we got 2 Biots. What a great show. What a great idea. Who came up with this idea, Pete? He must be a genius. Anyways, visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're here on YouTube all the damn time. Pete, you got something here? You got a little YouTube channel that you're trying to get off the ground. You want to go ahead and spread the word? Maybe it'll get as popular as my channel.
Good job done today, Jamie. Good job. So everybody tune in. Geez, it's Sunday. What's coming up tomorrow? We've got Hudson Valley Squares tomorrow night. We've got In the Prog Seat Tuesday, What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility on Wednesday, new product reviews Thursday, The Monsters Den, and Friday morning, these 2 guys right here. However this is going to come out, I don't know. Martin and I will be back at the Funhouse. So, and I want to thank Jamie for kind of handling things today. This was good. And of course, this is Jamie's idea, this show. And I think we're going to be doing these shows for quite a long time to come. So stay tuned next week, where we've got Armando Venditti and Eric Porter going at it head to head. That should be a lot of fun. And we're also in the works, just so everybody watching knows, because we've actually sealed it just the other day. My UK connection, Simon Bray and Stephen Reed, will also be doing this together in a couple of weeks. So that's coming up as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. Jamie, take it away.
I'll see you until next time, Thursday night. Check me out on the Monsters Den. Bye, everyone.
That is right. That's right. Monsters Den. David Lynch Day. In fact, right before we started taping today, I just got done watching Blue Velvet, literally as 10 o'clock hit. I got done watching it ended. So now I've rewatched all the ones I need to rewatch for Thursday's show. So that'll be fun. So yeah, for Jamie Lazo, Martin Popoff, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody. Take care.
Bye.